So today we're going to talk about slope-intercept systems of equations, and we're also going to talk about verbal models. So in this case, Kim currently has $25. She's a good girl. She decides to save, but Jenny has a bunch of money, and she's just decided she's going to spend it. So let's find out when the girls have the same amount. The first thing we want to do is we want to set up a verbal model. This is probably the toughest thing for a gifted child to do, because you want to quickly move to the math, but I don't want you to move to the math right away. Let's talk about Kim's total money, and that is for Kim, so I'll put a lowercase k here. And what she has is she starts with $25, and she adds $10 per week. So if I was going to go ahead and set this up as an equation, typically a total outcome is called y. That's usually the variable assigned. That would equal a starting point of 25. Adds means addition, and this is $10 per week. And so week, since it is an independent variable, would be k. But let's go ahead and make sure we have a label for this. X equals the number of weeks. Okay? Now let's use a different pen. And let's talk about good old Jenny. Jenny's total money, and we'll put a lowercase j here. She starts with $160, but her problem is she spends $5 per week. When I assign labels for Jen, she still has a total of money. She has a starting point of 160, but since she's spending, she's not adding, she's subtracting $5 per week. Notice that my label is still the number of weeks. Once I have this, I know that I need to talk about Kim's money. It has to be equal to Jen's money. Oh, by the way, that means YK has to equal YJ. Using substitution, we know that 25 plus 10x has to equal 160 minus 5x. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time going through how to solve each one of these. So as I do this, if you need to stop the video and figure out what Mrs. Rose has done, that's fine. But bottom line is x is equal to 9. I substitute that back in, okay? I'm going to start with the one that for me is the easiest, plus 10 times 9. And what I would find out is that y is equal to 115. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you give me 115 like this, guess what? You just lost a bunch of points. And the reason why you've lost points is this is a word problem. A word problem requires a word solution. And that is at 9 weeks, both girls will have $115. Okay? So let's take a look at the next one. You can go ahead and pause the tape and take a look at this. Okay? But basically what you need to know is this. The income is equal to $8 per shirt. Okay? The cost is equal to $75 plus $6.50 per shirt. Now, when will the PTSA begin to make a profit? Later, in another unit, we're going to talk about how to do a systems of inequalities. But for right now, let's just talk about the break-even point. The break-even point will be when what? The income is equal to the cost. So let's go ahead and set these equal to each other. Income will equal cost. Income is 8 times the number of shirts. Cost is 75 plus $6.50 per shirt. Okay. Whoops, let's make that an S. Okay. Let's subtract 6.5 S from both sides. That means 1.5S is equal to 75. That means the number of shirts is equal to 50. But ladies and gentlemen, that's the break-even point. That's not what I want. When will they begin to make a profit? Well, ladies and gentlemen, the PTSA will start making a profit with the 51st shirt. So hopefully they'll be able to sell a lot of shirts at that point. Okay, here we go. This one is kind of challenging because it is a percent problem. You need to remember, kind of like on the test last week, with winter equals the cost of summer. I'm sorry, not the cost. The number of cases in summer plus an additional 69%. So let's talk a little bit about web auctions. Web auctions charges what? $5 and 10% of the final price. Okay? Auctions online will be $3 and 15% of the final price. Okay? Well, this is a case of y equals 5 plus 10% times the final price. Y equals 3 plus 15% of the final price. And you should be able to figure this one out and give me the answer tomorrow. Okay, so let's leave it at this one. Hertz Car Company charges $25.20 for a daily rental, plus 60 cents per mile. Rent-to-Wreck charges a flat rate of $42 for the same model car. For which situation is Hertz better? Which situation is Rent-to-Wreck better? For class tomorrow, write in your journal when you think a system of equation word problem would deal with slope intercept form. Thank you. Have a great day.